Well, hello everyone, and welcome in. My goodness, what a rockin' awesome Saturday night we get going here tonight on the 6 screens. Boy, what a beautiful fall night up here in New England. I hope it's nice where you are as well. Well, we have got the outside story. Wow, we know what the inside story is, right? But what about those that have got out of the watchtower? What are they saying? Well, we have Fran and Joe. Wow, what a dynamic couple. And they'll be coming on tonight. And they are interviewing a man. Well, let me put it this way to you. He's an extraordinary man. He's from Florida. And he's got a lot to talk about here tonight. And I met him down at the protest in Washington, D.C. And I'll tell you, he came up to our hotel room and he gave his little story on the Watchtower and how it has affected his life. But I'm so glad that Fran and Joe got him on here tonight. So let's bring Fran and Joe on first and say hello to them, make sure everything's fine. Hello, Fran and Joe.
Hello, Rick.
So there you are. So we'll bring your guest on tonight, and you can talk a little bit about him. His name is Jay. He's from Florida. So give us the rundown on Jay, Fran and Joe.
Well, Jay's a great guy that we met down at the protest,
and then we came to your hotel room, and Jay came in, and we were so glad that he made it. He was having a little trouble getting in.
Yeah.
But he made it, and we were so glad to see him. And he gave us his story, so we thought it was really good, and we wanted him to share it here on the outside story.
Yeah.
Well, he kept a lot of people on the edge of our seat, and it was so good. I mean, I'll tell you what, I hated to leave there. We had so much fun, didn't we? Huh? We really did. The protest was great. We met so many people. I'll tell you what, what I really liked about that protest is at the end of the protest, everybody was hugging and shaking hands. And I mean, that gave me the impetus to say, let's do a convention. So we're working on a convention coming up. In fact, it's called We're Alive in 25. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be the convention. But anyways, Jay's smiling. We're going to hear his story here tonight. I'm going to cut out of here. I'll let you guys go, but I'm here if you need me. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Oh, hey, Rick.
Yes.
Yes. I sent you some pictures. If we could use those later of the meetup in Anaheim. Okay.
And phone number.
And also, the call-in phone number too for folks to call in.
Yeah, let me put that up for us so that they can do that. Let me do that right now. Let me do it right now with people because it's very important. People want to call into the program tonight. I'm going to put a picture. I'm going to put a phone number up so you'll see it on YouTube. And let's put that up right now so I don't forget. So call into the program. There it is. Well, there it is right there. Call that number. You can talk to them tonight. So I'm going to bow out of here. You guys do your thing. I'm here if you need me.
Thanks so much, Rick. There you are, Jay.
Hey, guys.
Jay, you let us know a little bit about you when you were there, when we were together, and it was a great time. Why don't you share a little more information on you now? Why don't you get started? If we've got any questions along the way, we'll kind of butt in and ask, but you go right ahead and start where you like to start. Where do you live?
I live in St. Augustine, Florida.
Okay. Good start.
Yeah. And so we met at the protest about a week and a half ago. And that night in the hotel room, I didn't know Rick was going to have me go on and, give my story and how the protest was. I didn't think that I would speak at all. It's actually the first time that I've ever spoken about my whole journey. That was the first time I've ever spoken about it. And
it was great.
It felt really good. It felt really good to speak up and to be at the protests. Yeah. We're going in the right direction. It's a step in the right direction. We're shedding light on the major issues. And I feel really good about participating. I was in a position where I could take a few days off of work, and I wanted to show my support because there's a lot of people that are leaving Watchtower, and they're giving their stories, and it's really comforting to know that there are people out there that are going through what you're going through.
Mhm.
And when I was doing my research and waking up, I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, and all of the content creators. You know, I have to thank them for their hard work.
Yeah.
And because it can't be easy to make those videos. So by me going to Washington, it was a way that I can contribute because the videos, the websites helped me so much while I was doing my research. And it was just a way that I could contribute. Um, so,
And you're giving your voice now is the best way. It really is, Jay, because it's an
yeah,
example to others to do the same. Think about it. If every one of us did this,
Mhm.
think of the influence.
yeah, I
So
listened
Jay,
to. Mhm.
Jay, what was it that woke you up?
Um, the ARC, Jeffrey Jackson's, his testimony, pretty much everything that he said, it was just shocking to me to see him and to hear what he said. Um, I was completely crushed when I when I saw that, and I watched the whole thing. You know, I was crushed. I I found out that there was a flock book. I never knew that the elders had a book. I found that out during the ARC also, and I looked into that book, and you know, I was led to believe that the elders in the back room, they prayed for Holy Spirit, and you know, that's what they want you to believe. But that book, you know, the fact that they hide it, you know, they don't want anyone to see it. And just the way that the elders reacted when I showed them that I had it, because I took screenshots after I was reinstated, and I sent them the screenshots of the
My
book,
goodness.
and I let them know that I wanted to study these sections of this book. And I was just completely shocked that this book existed. I was just, I was so crushed.
Jay,
Um,
and just to give perspective here, Jay, that
Mhm.
book, no one is supposed to know about that book except the elders. Number one. Number two, the elders' wives aren't even supposed to touch that book.
Wow.
So for someone to be in possession of it
Yeah.
and then bring it up to the elders is a really great tactical point.
Yeah, I wanted to let them know that I know.
Yep.
I wanted them to stop the games that they were playing,
Mm.
because I was led to believe that, like I said, they were praying for Holy Spirit and all of this. You know what they teach,
Yeah.
and there's some sections in that book that are really bad. And I took pictures of those sections, and I included every elder in my kingdom hall, not only the 3 that I dealt with in the judicial, and I appealed. So then there were 6, so 3 other elders from other kingdom halls close by in the area. So there were 6. I didn't have their numbers, but I sent pictures of the flock book to my entire elder body. And I took pictures of the sections. And that was a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, right before they were going to go to serve out in service. And boy, I didn't get a response. It was very quiet on the on the text message. So I had, one elder eventually reached out to me, and he said, you're not supposed to be you're not supposed to be doing that. That's not how we do it. Something to that effect. And I basically let him know that I wanted to discuss these topics. And he said, okay, I'll see what we could do, and he didn't respond back to me.
So
that
you didn't feel intimidated by them.
Well, the elder that called me, he asked me where I got that book. I told him it doesn't matter where I got it. I told him that I'd like to study this, because he offered to study the God's Love book with me. He offered to study that book to try and get my spirituality up and all that kind of stuff. So I told him, I want to study this book, Shepherd the Flock of God, in these particular sections. And he told me that's not a study book. And I said, well, I read all of the books that the Watchtower prints, and I don't have a problem reading this one. And and they just weren't having it. So, or he wasn't having it. And then, so we ended the conversation. He actually, I found out from that elder during our judicial that he was a single father. I never knew that about this particular elder. Wow. And up until that point, I had been living in St. Augustine about 6 years. I moved here in 2016, summer of 2016. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, maybe 4 or 5 years. So in that time, this elder who was in my judicial, he was a single father, and he never came up to me and told me that, or even saw me as a single father, in the hall and say, hey man, let's hang out, let's go out for a bite to eat, let's grab a beer, or nothing. So during this time in this hall here, St. Augustine South, I was doing my best, to just do what's required of you, as difficult as it is, and as impossible as it is to reach the requirements.
Yeah.
I was very hurt when he told me that in that judicial hearing. And then after, when I got reinstated, and I told him that. I said, you were a single father. Why wouldn't you reach out to me and help me?
Yeah.
How could you how could you not reach out and help me, but you could disfellowship me?
Mm-hmm.
How could you not just like hang out with me, right? Like go out and just like bond and that kind of thing.
Jay, you
Mhm.
were expecting them to be shepherds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the book says, shepherd the
Yeah.
flock of God.
And
Yeah.
Jay, just to back up a little bit,
Uh-huh.
without giving too much personal information if
Yeah.
you don't want to, but we were so impressed when you gave your story because you were raising your daughter by
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And for the audience out there, this is a tremendous thing when a man, a brother, a father, takes the responsibility of raising your daughter. You were working full time
Yeah.
and you had full custody of her, right?
Yeah. At that point, well, I got her full time when she was in kindergarten.
Yeah, and you
And
raised her, and that just, as a mother and a parent, that just touched my heart.
yeah, that was down in South Florida before I moved here, you know, when I got her full time. And then I ended up moving here to St. Augustine because my mother lives here.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be great. She can help me out. You know, I can work a full day. She can help me out. And also I could take care of my mom because she's getting older.
That's
Sure.
beautiful.
Yeah, she's about 73. And I'm the only one of my brothers that is in a position to move and take care of mom or just be close to mom, you know?
Yeah.
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 So,
Nice.
yeah.
So the elders disappointed you, to say in the least.
Yeah. And when I finished that conversation with that brother, shortly after, another elder called me. And I said, "Are you calling me because I just showed the other elder, or told the other elder that I want to study the flock book?" And he's like, oh, no, 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 I'm watching the baseball game. And he started, you know, doing like small talk with me.
Yeah, they like to
And he
do
was
that.
like kind of beating around the bush. And at that point, I had done a lot of research. So I wanted to see how these guys were going to act and what they were going to do and what they were going to say when they were confronted with this. And if it wasn't all the research, then their own behavior
Mm-hmm.
made it apparent to me.
Yeah.
It was an ordeal. It was a big thing. I sent out the pictures of the flock book also to every person I had in my contact list here locally.
Wow.
Not only in my congregation but neighboring congregations.
Wow, that's impressive.
I sent those screenshots of their flock book to everyone.
You can send it to our congregation too if you want, Jay. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I did that because I knew that they were going to probably just disfellowship me or just talk bad about me behind my back to people
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
have, you know, how they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
behave.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to let people know and see for themselves from their book
Yeah.
and the reasons why they're not going to see me in the hall anymore, you know.
Good for you. Great job. Great job.
Yeah. So I work with one of the elders right now. He was actually the elder that I originally went up to get some advice, you know, because I had sinned, you know, and I came forward and I let them know that I had relations with my girlfriend and it was going on for 2 months. And my daughter and his daughter would hang out all the time. I would go over to his house all the time and everything. So I thought I was going to talk to someone that was going to actually help me,
Yeah.
because I came forward. And also I cut the relationship off prior to coming forward. And I let him know that, the two elders, and then the committee, I let them all know that. And you know, that's repentance, right? I mean, it should be, but they just disfellowshipped me. They didn't even want to work with me or anything. And you know, and all the time that all the years that I was here in St. Augustine, they never asked me to do, not even pass a mic, hold the door, sound, nothing, nothing at all.
Wow.
And but they could disfellowship you so quickly and easily. It's like it just didn't make sense to me.
Well, they value that as an example to the rest of the congregation.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and incidentally, if you don't mind, Jay, folks can ask questions if you don't mind. And if you don't want to answer them, you don't
Yeah.
have
No, that's fine.
to. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
the numbers right on the screen. So and before someone calls, so what have you been doing since you've been on the outside?
Mhm.
How is your life? Has it been improved, better?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was so stressed and so pressured.
Mhm.
It was a lot of work. Making all the meetings, you know, as my daughter was, she was 5 years old, 5 to
Wow.
current, making all the meetings, going out in service and all this. I had help, you know, from especially the sisters in the hall. There were a lot of nice sisters that were would help out, and you know, I'd like to thank them.
Nice.
The you know, the friends in the hall, they were all great. Um, but it was difficult. It was a lot of hard work. I was a iron worker down in South Florida while I was doing this. I was a structural steel welder, and I was rigging and connecting. And my boss, I had a talk with him. You know, I said, I got to go, you know, or, you know, I'd have to show up at the job after I drop my daughter off at school, you know, and then I could work a little bit later. I could put her in aftercare, pick her up by 6. So I did that. My boss worked with me, and I'm grateful to him, and all the guys that I was welding with, because they were very supportive during that difficult time. And but it was fun. It was fun raising my daughter, and we had a lot of fun. We'd go to the beach all the time. All the time we go to the beach. We go to the park. We'd cook. It was fun. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was the best.
That's beautiful.
It was just so much fun.
That's
It
beautiful.
really was.
That's such a good example, Jay, because
Yeah.
we have a lot of single fathers that call us, and you know they're raising their children, and maybe they're still with the preemie mother, and they're wondering, well, what can I do? And we just tell them, get them involved and do things with them, and you know, show them that outside of the watchtower you can have a really fun time and learn things. So that's really a
Yeah.
good example what you did with your daughter.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was the dad that was playing on the playground. You know, I'd be going down the slides, and I'd be over there, you know, running around with her, and it was so cool. I never missed anything. I took her to school every day, every morning, and got her dressed, packed the lunch, homework, dinner. It's a lot. It's a lot. And just keep on doing it. If anyone is out there and is doing that, um, I had support. Uh, my brother was supportive. My mother was supportive. You can't do it all on your own, you know. You say you're a single parent, but you really do need help. So
Did
you
you
know,
want to say anything about your relationship with your mom now, because you are disfellowship? Did that kind of put a
well, I was reinstated. I was reinstated, and then I sent these photos to the elders, and then I sent the photos out to everyone, and I showed my mother some of the points that I researched on, which was, 75. She grew up. She went through 75. Another thing that I pointed out to her was the organization joined the United Nations.
mm-hmm.
That's something that I showed her. I showed her the database, the the stock portfolio, like all the companies that they're involved with. I tried to show her things that she would probably relate to or could relate to, and she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to engage in any of those conversations.
Okay.
So I barely talk to her now. She doesn't call me anymore. So definitely it has affected our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
She's still in, and she's married with a brother in the hall. And, hopefully I really feel like it's to the point where, the governing body, they're just exposing themselves at this point with what they're saying, that
Yeah.
I don't think you don't even have to really look far. You don't have to look outside of their own videos.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if people wake up that are in the hall right now and listening to this
They
new
are. Oh, they
annual
are.
annual
Yeah.
meeting. It was like
No,
shocking to hear these guys say what they're saying in the annual meeting.
they are.
I mean,
Yep.
my goodness.
Yep.
But so yeah, that relationship is strained, but I'm engaged right now. I have a beautiful woman in my life. Um, I have not only my daughter, but I have my stepdaughter also, who's a year younger than my daughter, and I'm happy. I'm happy just going to work every day and coming home and taking care of whatever has to be taken care of here, and working on whatever projects I'm working on at the time. I like to have a couple projects that I like doing, and life is simple now. It's not stressful. I mean, I have the trauma of what just happened, um, but I'm getting better with that.
Yeah.
For me personally, it was very traumatic. Um, what I went through, just with my daughter's mother leaving her, and the pressure that I put on myself, um, to just try and be the very best father and mother that I can be. And Watchtower doesn't make it easy for you to be satisfied with the effort that you put in anything. And being raised, I was raised in, um, it's a lot of negative that they put on you, you know, the destruction and like Armageddon, just death, 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 death. I was so scared growing up. I was so scared. I was scared all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay, how does your daughter
Oh, she's
accept
doing good. Their grades are doing good. They're doing good in school. I'm
it?
proud of them both.
As far as the fear and the Armageddon thing and all that?
Mhm. Who, me?
Yeah,
No,
no, your
your daughter.
daughters. How does your daughters react to that?
Oh, so my daughter, it's funny. So around this time that I was beginning to do my research, my daughter said, she said to me, she said, "Oh, that's just a cult." We were in a conversation and she just said that.
Wow.
And I was like, "Hmm." And I was like, "Cult." I said, "Cult, do you know what that means?" And she said, "Yeah." And so we talked about it. I pulled up the definition and everything. And I was like, "Okay." And I didn't, because I was doing my research at this particular point in time. And I was like, man, for her to say that's pretty impressive. And after looking up the definition with her and talking to her about it, um, you know, she's really smart. Amari's very, very smart.
That's beautiful, Jason. We're finding out, Jay, we're finding out that the younger, that generation who have access to information as
Yeah.
they do the internet, for
Yep.
them, they are very quickly seeing the things that
Yeah.
took us a long time to see.
Yeah, because we didn't have this. We didn't have these resources available.
That's right.
When I was growing up, it was whatever they said from the stage
Yeah.
and the elders
Yeah.
and your parents.
That was it.
That was the law. I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
I was told that was the truth,
Yes.
and I trusted my parents. I didn't know any better.
I know.
And wow, man, I just can't believe, looking back on it now, it's just shocking. It really is. It's hard for me to go back and dig for, for memories.
Mm.
It's crazy. You look back and you were in one of the worst, dangerous organizations, and it's just
So true. So, with that in mind, what effect did the demonstration, the protest have on you?
so that was my first protest I've ever been to. I've never
Us
done.
too. Us too.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was a beautiful day. It was perfect. The weather was perfect. I showed up at 10 o'clock, and I saw you right away. I said hi to you, and man, I gotta hand it to the organizers,
Yeah.
Justin and the anonymous woman.
Mm-hmm.
They really put something together that was special, and to be able, because Watchtower, they shut you down, they silence you when they execute their judgment upon you,
Mm-hmm.
and they shut you down completely to your entire social network. I mean,
Yeah.
so to be able to go out there and in the front of the White House
Mm-hmm.
and support and clap and shout and listen to all those brave people that gave their experience, their testimony. Um, there's a lot of brave and loving people I'm finding out that are just like you and I.
That's right.
And
That's
and it
right.
was amazing to see that, because I was disfellowshipped in the past. When I was first got baptized, I was disfellowshipped, and I remember when I was out, I didn't have contact with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And even growing up, um, you're taught to only hang out with the witness kids. So I always felt like I was in between growing up. Because the brothers, they wouldn't choose me or my brothers to do anything in the hall, or, you know, they weren't trying to advance us or anything like that.
Wow.
But we couldn't have friends outside of the organization. So I grew up like always in the middle.
Yeah. Wow.
And
So I got to ask you, why do you think it was that they basically avoided you?
why who avoided me?
Well, the congregation. You said that they didn't include you.
They didn't use
You said
you.
that they didn't use you. They didn't.
Oh. So when we were young, like high school age, me and my brother were we were announced on the stage as bad association. They used to do that back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't baptized, and if you were causing problems, or, you know, just doing the high school teenage
Yeah.
stuff. So we were announced. So we always had a mark on us. You know, you can't really shake that. You know,
True.
and it just follows you, especially if you stay local. I
True.
mean, looking back on it now, it's obvious. It's very obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. So the congregations, the organization is really nothing that they say that they are. And you learned that through the shepherd, the flock of God.
I was so shocked when I looked into that book.
Yeah.
And I looked at the revisions, because I looked at the new revisions, and I sent actually the new revisions to the elders also.
Boy, you would
I sent them several. It wasn't just one round of text messages. It was it was the flock book, then it was another round, and I was just hitting them like 4 times in a row, like in the same Saturday while they were out in service.
Jay, you're CO material.
What were those, like the trumpet blast?
Yeah. I even would send them a message when Kim reads the elders' letters,
Mm-hmm.
because they tried to send another elder to talk to me through the phone. Then they sent this ministerial servant to try and talk to me, because they had started getting word that I was sending these photos around. So they were trying to get me quiet, you know.
So did they label you as an apostate?
I don't know. I never went back to the hall. I don't even know if they disfellowshipped me.
Yeah.
But man, it was kind of a big deal here to do that to all of the elders.
You're right.
I mean, every elder I had the phone number to.
Oh, you're right. It was a very big deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Kim and Mike, or Kim, read a letter about the COVID vaccine. You know, if the elders would speak against it. I don't know if you remember that letter, but it was an elder's letter. If the elder would speak against it, they would be accused of causing divisions.
Yeah.
And I sent that to like an elders in another congregation that meet at our Kingdom Hall. I saved that for those elders. So there were like several groups of messages that I sent out, just hitting everyone one by one with all different things. And
Good for you.
Yeah, and you know, everybody should be taking a lesson from this. These are good tactics if you want to strike at the elders.
Yeah.
They need that. They really need that.
Is anyone there that wants to call in and ask Jay anything
Or any comments?
or anything? Make a comment.
Hit star 6. Hit star 6 on your telephone pad, and say hello to Jay. Say hello to Fran and Joe. They're on here with us tonight. So what do you think? I mean, Jay is telling his story, You guys have got to be listening in. What do you think of that? I mean, his story speaks volumes. So go ahead. Don't be a stranger. Speak up. Go ahead. Hit *6 on your telephone pad. Well, we got a number of people listening in, so keep going on, and I'm sure they'll come in a few minutes here. Go ahead.
So Jay, just a question, Jay. Did
Yeah.
you contacted or any other exes in your area? Are you familiar with any?
Okay, so so when my fiance and I started dating, she had a picture. She took a picture of both of us, and in the background, I have a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard, I had my Zoom password and the code, right?
Yeah.
So she goes to work, and she's telling her coworker that she's close with, friends with, oh yeah, we I went over for dinner over Jay's house, this and that. And so she's showing her the pictures, and this girl is looking at the pictures and zooms into the Zoom and password
Oh boy.
on the board. And she's like, he's a Jehovah's Witness. And and Rebecca, my fiance, says, she's like, really? How do you know? Because he's got the Zoom password on his board. So it turns out that her coworker
Wow.
and her husband were waking up at the same time.
Wow, that's
Oh,
fabulous.
that's great.
Yeah. So
Oh boy.
yeah, that was a whole interesting.
We have a caller coming in here. Go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead, Miss.
Hey, Jay, I just wanted to say thank you so much for being so brave to come on and share your story and be so authentic and honest. And I think you're a really awesome guy, and I really want to wish you the very best in your life ahead. And glad you got out. Really, really glad.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it feels really great to be out. There's no comparing the two. I was so stressed when I was in there. It was so difficult. It was so tough. It was like I was just climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. It was exhausting. Very exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say congratulations too, Jay. That's amazing. Since we've been in, I've been out for 20 some years, but you're coming out in the most elevated fear-based BS that they've been running. They've been running like, fear level, fire danger today. I mean, they've been running high fear, and
Oh,
to walk out of that illusion, I mean, what a courageous thing. And it just gives other people permission. I know there's a lot of people listening that you can walk through the fear and come out the other side and see that it was just an illusion. It was a fake temple, and really live your life. So I just want to congratulate you for feeling the fear, doing it anyway, and finding the life on the other side of the fake watchtower.
thank you. Is that Dan?
Yep, it is. Yep.
Oh man. Thanks. I watch your videos all the time.
Oh,
I
good.
like that they're long. Because I could put them on and just listen. I like how you rant. I love your passion. And you really bring up some really good topics that get the gears turning. And thanks for speaking out.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jay.
And tell Angela that I say hello.
Well, thank you, Jay. You're the best. We appreciate you, and I think you're a pretty awesome guy. So no matter what they ever said about you, shutting you down when you were a kid and making you a bad association, well, Dan was a bad association too. His whole family, and he turned out to be an incredible, amazing guy. So I think you're pretty amazing too. So don't listen to that bullshit.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Amen.
I'm finally learning that that there's a life to live.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It's It's really amazing. You know, it's difficult. It has its difficulties. Don't get me wrong, but you have the peace of mind of knowing what's really going on. These guys, man, they are not what they say they are.
So true. And so it's so good that we open our voices up too, and help others get out. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's good. In fact, I want to maybe even shout out to someone we spoke with today, who we just met. And we won't mention her name. I'll just say it starts with a J and ends with an N. So she's listening. That we want to say hello to you, and so glad you're here and we found you.
And she called us, and she has only been awake for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And the thing that really got
Wow.
her was not having to count time. 3 weeks ago,
Really?
she found out about that, and she started questioning back in February when they announced that Toni Morris was no longer the governing body, and she asked the elders. She goes, "Well, what happened to Brother Morris?" And they didn't answer. They didn't know. They say, "Oh, we don't know." And she would always ask the elders questions, and they had no answer for her. So we are so proud of her. Only 3 weeks, and she called us, and she's only an hour away from us, so she's going to come to our meetup, and we're going to go. And she invited us to her house. So
that's what's happening right now, with over and over and over, all around, all over.
Can I ask Jay another question?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
I wanted to ask you. You were in there the latter part. You know, you're one of the latter ones coming out. And I guess I just want to ask: was there a lot of rumblings going on during the pandemic? And was there a lot of rumblings going on with this money that they're asking about? I mean, are the brothers like talking between each other, like, man, how much do they want us to give? I mean, when you guys went out in service, were they going, they can't make us do this? I mean, was there any talk like that? Did you see it sort of coming apart at the seams, or are you seeing people just lifers, just totally blind, totally still, just totally dumbed down? Are you seeing, I know people are waking up, but just in your group, in your hall, whatever, did you see underlying tonality of maybe something's wrong here?
Well, I was disfellowshipped in just after COVID. That was August of 2020. I was reinstated exactly 1 year after, August 2021. So I think COVID really changed everything. And I was disfellowshipped from the beginning of COVID. And I didn't talk to anyone after COVID, because when I was reinstated, it was only about a week or two that I sent the pictures to the elder body. It was only a couple weeks. I just couldn't keep it in anymore. So I didn't talk to anyone. Only the night that I was reinstated, which was a Tuesday night, my phone was exploding that night. I mean, text message one after another. But I didn't respond because it was the love bombing thing. I had done my research 3 months prior to my reinstatement. On my 9th month, excuse me, on my 9th month is when I started looking, because I wrote them a letter and they shot it down again. And it was my 3rd letter on my 9th month. I think I wrote letter 3, month 3, month 6, and then month 9. And man, after that meeting, I was like, these guys don't have Jehovah's Holy Spirit, because I came forward and I was being honest with these guys, and I broke it off with my girlfriend. And after the 9th month, I could see that I could just see through the facade, through the fakeness. And I ended up getting back with my girlfriend, who is my fiance now. So we were together the whole time that I was disfellowshipped, basically, especially through the last 6 months of my disfellowshipping. These guys aren't praying for Jehovah's Holy Spirit and all this stuff that they say, and they know that you're repentant and all this nonsense, you know, because they reinstated an apostate by their definition. They reinstated an apostate.
Oh my God. Hey, Jay.
Jay,
Yeah.
we have someone I'm texting from Japan that's
Wow.
listening, and they had a very similar experience to you that you did. And, he was put before a hearing committee 5 times and disfellowshipped twice. What I find interesting is that when I truly repented, I was disfellowshipped.
Yep.
And when I did not repent, I received only a reproof. So
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. They they reinstated me on Zoom. He sent me the message, make sure you're in a confidential place, you know, to have this meeting. This was exactly a year after I wrote my other letter, and then they they met with me on Zoom, and it was really a 1-year sentence. That's what it felt like, because I was actually genuine when I came forward. And then they reinstated me when I had found everything out, and I was just like, I didn't even care. Like, I would sign on to Zoom, and then I would just put the phone, you know, outside on the back patio.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say these governing body members and a lot of these elders are nothing but charlatans. And COVID, unfortunately, dreadful that a lot of people passed away from it, but it gave a lot of witnesses that to get on the internet and do some research on this cult that they're in. And that's my comment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your comment. I agree 100%. When they didn't consider me on my 9th month, I knew I was like, man, what's up with these guys? Something's not right, you know. Even during my judicial, you know, the way I opened it up just talking to them and saying, you know, what led me up to my sin, which was, like I mentioned before. And I was looking to talk to them. And the lead, he happened to be the coordinator. The coordinator was he was in charge of the judicial. And he said, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about sexual immorality. And he basically told me to shut up.
wow.
And he just didn't want to hear. He just didn't want to talk. It was crazy. It was just crazy.
Charlatans. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for calling.
Hey, Jay.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, hey, this is Stefan. Hi, Fran and Joe. This is Stefan.
Hi,
Hello,
Stefan.
Stefan.
Hello. Hey, I just wanted to say, Jay, I'm actually going to need to go back and listen to this after it's broadcast on YouTube, because I know I missed some bits and pieces. But I just wanted to say that you and I have some parallels in our life. When I was about 26, I believe, I was married. And then a few years into the marriage, my then Jehovah's Witness wife left the religion, left the marriage, actually moved out of state. And so overnight, I became a single parent. And I have 2 boys. I was taking them to daycare, and my youngest wasn't even walking when this happened. And then going to work, and then after work, racing to get them, trying to go to meetings, trying to go out in service. And there were 2 things that happened that really should have woke me up.
even back then, but unfortunately they didn't. But just like in your case, I never once got a call, any kind of encouragement from anybody in the whole congregation. And we're talking some of those people there that knew me since I was 3 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
And even elders that knew me basically my entire life. Not once did anybody ever say, hey, I know you're going through a lot. I know your family's not together anymore. Why don't you come? Let's go out and have a beer and spend some time as guys, or bring the kids over for dinner and sit down and just take a little. Not one single time. And this went on that entire time. And I don't know if you remember, but they used to always say at those meetings that no matter what you were going through, or if you were tired, you go to the meeting, and then when you leave, you would be feeling so much better. You'd be feeling energized and all of that. And for me, it was the total opposite. I'd be feeling okay throughout my day. I mean, I'm dealing with
The meeting. Oh.
and all of that. But then when I would go to the meeting, when I would come home from the meeting, I would be depressed. And one day, it was a typical Thursday. I had the long day at work and dropping the kids and picking the kids and changing for the meeting. And I was driving to the meeting, and I got so sick. I saw all black. I felt like I was going to throw up. And then a voice went off in my head that basically said, why are you forcing yourself to do something that you so obviously don't want to do? And I turned the car around, drove back home, and I didn't step foot into a Kingdom Hall for, I don't know how long, at least. So that should have woke me up from there, but it didn't. But in any event, I just wanted to say that I totally can relate to a lot of what you said, and I'm happy that you're in a much better place. I'm glad that you're out of that organization. I'm glad that you found another woman that hopefully you can build a nice life with, and I just wish you all the best in the world.
Thanks. I appreciate it. That's so true. You know, the sisters were always inviting my daughter over to bake, or, you know, if they had a daughter around her age, they would always invite her over. But the elders weren't reaching out to me and saying, hey man, hang out with us, or, just doing anything. I just found it so odd that the elders weren't reaching out to a young man in the hall, and just encouraging him to help out. It's like
No.
they just didn't care.
No, not at all. I mean, I'll tell you, at least you got the sisters that helped you. I got absolutely nothing. And then my mom, the mom who raised me, I should say, she was a regular pioneer. And I know for a fact that she had gone to those elders and said, why is it that you're not calling and encouraging? Because every other month she would ask me, oh, did brother such and such call you? And I said, no, nobody's. What did such and such brother, did he come by or anything? I said, no, not. Oh, I'm gonna get on them. I said, no, why should you have to get on them? If they're elders and they stand up on that platform and talk about how they're supposed to be a shelter from the storm and all of this business, then they're supposed to do this on their own. They shouldn't need any encouragement from you. But you know what was funny, Jay? You want to know who did reach out to me and who was trying to be comforting and try to help out? It was all of the non-witnesses.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Two different. One was in daycare, and one was a little preschool. I know you know what I'm talking about with the preschool. But those parents would always kind of pull me to the side and ask me how I was doing. They would always invite me out for. I'm getting the wording wrong, but like all of the holidays, they would say, "Listen, we know your wife or ex-wife and blah blah blah. You're more than welcome to come over for Thanksgiving." These are people I don't even know.
Wow.
They sold through the grapevine, heard about. They were all, and we even went to a birthday party. I had never been to a birthday party, but we were invited. This was years into all of this, and like I said, never being reached to by the congregation. And this one really nice family invited us to a birthday party. I went to the birthday party because I basically wasn't doing a single thing. I'd go to work, come home, and just stare at the walls. And she asked us to come out. She just was so, and everybody was there. She had a ton of people that came, But when she saw me and my two little guys, I mean, she got her eyes. She said, "I didn't think you were coming." She says, "You were the one person we wanted to make sure that came, and they made sure I had a great time." So the point that I'm making is none of the witnesses reached out, but all of the not all of them, but the non-witnesses were the ones that actually reached out. It's so
Good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful, Stephen.
I want to say that after the elder arrangement came in, my dad had done so much for the congregation in the old days. And the elder arrangement came in about 75, and they tried to ruin him. And his best friend was a wonderful man, and he came and solved it. And then he said, "Leave my daughter alone." I had some health issues, and my mother did too. We were a beautiful family, better looking than a lot of people, better dressed than a lot of people. But I had severe health issues, neurological issues. My mother had migraine headaches. The elders were pushy to us. Our health improved. We stopped going. And and when I changed my diet and got off of wheat, and the seizures were gone, but I had things that I could not help. And my mother had issues she could not help. And these people tried to say I was demon possessed and marked me. And I was just a teenager that was an A student and a pretty girl trying to have a life. And the abuse that I experienced before I left was terrible. And I went to college. I said goodbye. I'm going to college, and my life has been wonderful. I have a wonderful retirement. But I look back and I hear some of the things you're saying, and they were in no way supportive of someone who had been a star in the congregation growing up. It's like I went from star to scapegoat overnight when that elder situation came in.
Yeah, I totally can relate to that. My father was just, I was a little kid. I didn't know what disfellowshipping was. I didn't know what was going on. I just heard his name mentioned at one of the meetings, and everybody was crying. And I'm like, what is going on? And I went home, and my dad was there, and in my young mind, I couldn't understand what was going on. What are they crying about? He's right there, and he was always the same. He was basically my best friend coming up. He's a great guy. And as I started to get older, I realized that in our congregation, the young ones would always get together and do things and have sleepovers and go play ball on the weekends. And I never knew anything about it. You know, I would just
my congregation didn't have any other young people. We didn't have that. And my dad had been the elder. Before the elder arrangement, he and this other brother had single-handedly tended to the needs of the congregants. Day or night, they were there. And I saw my dad take money out of his pocket and give to this sister with children that needed her rent paid. I saw true Christianity. And when the elders came in, I don't know why they were so against me. But with health problems, you can imagine how traumatizing that was. I was trying to get there and do the best I can and really believed it and really doing the best I could. And it was like it made my life worse. So I had to get out of there, and I did. And my parents both lived to old ages, and they were happier at home, retired and healthier, and living into their 90s and their 100s. And then they tried to extort my mother's house. And I've told this story before, but you're new, so I'll tell it. She looked at the Bible study sister, and she said, "Depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I knew you not." The woman tried to take our house.
Sure. Yeah. And just to finish what I was saying, just to bring it full circle, because I was never included in anything, you can just imagine how life was, because here you are a witness. You're not supposed to have relationships with the neighborhood kids, and there was no witnesses at my school. I was the only witness at my school. And then it was so bad that, and I guess my raised me complained to the elders, and so they gave a talk, and in the talk they said, "Oh, if you have a family member that's disfellowship, that doesn't mean the entire family is disfellowshipped." And it was only after that talk, and this had gone on for years, that I started to get invited to some little things, you know, from time to time. But I'll tell you, if people say this all the time, and I hear people saying this even recently, "Oh, well, there were some good things about being a witness. Oh, I learned how to dress," or "Oh, I learned how to public speak, but when I sit back and look at it, I would not have, I would have traded that life for just being a regular kid who had relationships with family, and friendships at school and got involved with school activity. I would have traded that Jehovah's Witness life for that kind of a life in a heartbeat. People
My little town was good.
Learn some good things from it. You want to believe that? You can believe that. But for me, it was hell.
It was hell. My street was good. My best friend was good. Their family fed me often, and the public library saved my life. Yeah, I hear you, and I hear you on the social.
I agree with you on the public library. It saved mine too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is Pixie, isn't it? How you doing, Pixie?
It is. Keep on keeping on.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sorry, Jay. I just wanted to share.
No, you're good. Thanks for commenting. Thank you.
It's not easy, and I think the worldly people, if you had a way where you could sit down with a neighbor that you trusted and had a coffee, man or woman that's your neighbor, and explain to them what you and I know, their jaw would drop.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, it would drop just at how witnesses separate you from your family. I can honestly say I'm 56 years of age, 5'6", okay? I can honestly say I don't have that close-knit kind of relationship with any of my relatives because my whole life I was blocked from that. I have an uncle who, when he retired as the senior patent attorney for Procter & Gamble of Fortune 100 company.
Nice.
That was my uncle. My uncle could have easily been a person who said, you know what, you seem like a bright enough kid. Let me kind of sponsor you. Let me kind of give you some direction in some things. And if you decide that maybe law is something you'd like to get into, I can give you some of the shortcuts and I can get in some legal groups. And I could have done, I mean, it's just amazing when you sit back and think about all the opportunities we lost because of being raised a Jehovah's Witness.
Well, you're younger than me. You could do school yet. You could do what you want to yet. You've got a few more years to do it. And even just
so that's why I'm glad to hear. That's why I'm glad to hear that Jay, who sounds like he's younger, has figured all this stuff out, and now he's making directions and on the right track. I'm just so excited for him.
Well, I'm glad I went to college. I don't regret a minute of that, but I think I could have excelled at my social skills. I mean, they teach you not to trust anyone, and you finally learn to trust yourself.
Right.
Yeah. It was difficult growing up.
Oh, my God. and then you think about for what all the time, and Jay, I know you can attest, all the time that we spent in the ministry. And I think about if you think about what Pixie just said, how many degrees do you think we would have earned, Pixie, if we had used that time for self-development instead of in the ministry?
Well, see, that's what dawned on me sitting at the Kingdom Hall at about in my 20s. I went to school a little later. I should have gone at 17 or even graduated early at 15. I could have gotten into university earlier. But it dawned on me sitting in the Kingdom Hall on Thursday night, hey, I'm totally awake on Thursday night. Maybe night classes would suit me. You know, if I put in all this time in college, I would have things by now. And that's what I went and did. That is exactly what the thought was, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I'm retired.
The thing about college.
And I'm retired now where I'm not broke. I have friends that are totally older and broke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the other issue. But what I was going to say is the thing about college that we've done ourselves such a disservice, those of us who didn't go or went late or whatever the case is, it's not just about, Watchtower likes to paint it as you're going because you just want to be materialistic and you want to climb the corporate ladder and you want to make a bunch of money. No, it's not even about that. It's about we learn nothing in this organization. Nothing.
Do you want to know why I think we did? Do you know why they keep them dumb? Because if they get smart, they'll realize how bad the management is. These people are window washers trying to tell you how to have a marriage, trying to give health advice. They have zero. They didn't even take high school science.
Exactly.
they didn't offer any. They didn't. These elders didn't offer me any practical advice when I went to them. Even when they reinstated me, they didn't. They didn't help me with my situation at all. I mean, they didn't even give me any advice or anything. It was just
No.
they just really exposed themselves. They really did.
I don't
Well,
usually
funny
get my
because,
pressure up, but I watched that elder video where they're counseling the young man in a pretend situation, and he has the pregnant girlfriend. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
Well, it's a leaked elders video, and the young man is being counseled in a pretend situation. And in this situation, he has a pregnant girlfriend. Elders video. And the young man, a Baptist or a Methodist would say, "Oh, good, we're having a wedding, and you've got a wife, and we've got an extra member with that baby."
Right.
In the video, they try to get him away from the young woman that's going to have his offspring. I got so mad.
Oh yeah. Pixie,
Yeah.
part of my waking up, Pixie, one of the 3 or 4 things that helped me to start waking up, or at least to say, wait a minute, something's amiss here, was that doggone video where it was a young lady who apparently she was having a relationship with some guy. She wasn't married or anything. And she was ultimately disfellowshipped. And her parents cut her off, wouldn't have anything to do with it. And she calls her parents, and her mom is in the kitchen washing the dishes. She looks over at the phone, and it's the daughter calling. And nope, I can't talk to her. She's disfellowshipped. The only way she's going to come back is if I don't talk to her. That video, does everybody know the video that I'm speaking of?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That video was one of the first things that helped me wake up, because I said to myself, what a cruel way to treat your own flesh and blood child. And I'm like, this young lady could have been calling for any reason. She could have been calling because she was in a police station. She could have been calling because this guy that she was with, who they never even discussed whether they got married or didn't get married, he could have been, I don't know, beating her up. Maybe her car stopped. She's with your grandchild. Maybe her car stopped out in the dead of winter. And so she's calling to get the baby and come and get them. She could have been calling for she could have been in an auto accident and she's death in a hospital. But you'll never know why she called, because you won't answer the phone. And when I saw that just turned me sick. And I looked around at the audience as that video was playing, and I just looked at all of these dead faces with no emotion, just looking at a screen, being hypnotized. And that really started waking me up. I said, what is going on here? And I said, you know what? I said, I would never do that. When
I dropped a pencil in the assembly hall that time, and I looked around and saw those hypnotized people, and I nudged my dad, and he saw them too, and he says, "Well, we don't have to come here anymore, because that is what it is. That's what's happening to them." Yes. I think they have stupid tests. I think it's a distraction for the stupid people at this point. And I would have died for that organization. I was a true believer, as many of you were.
Yeah, me too. And it's like you say, Pacey, it's that low-level hypnotism that they practice, and it's so true.
Yeah. Well, get out of for my people. That's the message for this evening. It's wonderful chatting with you.
You as well.
Hi, Brad.
You as well.
Hello.
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 Hi, Brad. I wanted to comment on that elders video that Pixie was talking about. I saw that. It's for elder training. It's not regular rank and file. It was so horrible. It was so awful, with this young guy that had a girlfriend and she was, worldly.
And it was horrible in this elders meeting, and he's crying, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
And what they did was they made the girl out to, it's all her fault. It's just her fault. And guess what the girl's name was in the video?
Nadine?
It was no, Lucy.
Well, that's good.
A loose, woman, a loose girl. Her name was Lucy. It was so awful. And anyways, he got, she was pregnant, and they wanted him to break off the relationship with this girl. And he's going to become a father. And they want him to break this off with his girlfriend. They weren't trying, they are not trained to give relationship advice. It was so awful. I just, it's terrible. That was one of the worst elders videos I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was in my judicial, one of the elders told me that I would hate Rebecca. That's what he told me. He was telling me this was early on after I wrote my first letter, and they didn't accept me for reinstatement. That elder looked me in the face and he said, "Make sure that you don't get back in contact with this woman, because you're going to end up hating her." That's what he told me. And I was just like, they were just exposing themselves with everything they said, and just their actions, their body language. I can't believe that he told me that. I was shocked that he told me that I would hate someone.
Yeah.
Don't they teach that you're supposed to even love your enemy? I mean, and he's telling me that I'm going to hate someone.
It's terrible.
It's just unbelievable.
Say that. I think they say that because they're so hateful.
Oh, yeah.
That everybody's going to hate this and hate that. The whole organization is about hate. Everything is hate.
Yeah.
You're supposed to hate, worldly people. You're
Hey,
supposed
Nadine. Nadine. Hello, Nadine.
Yes.
Okay. I know we're talking about this subject, but we really wanted to get on and talk about the meetup that you had in Anaheim. Did you want to just tell a little bit about it and how many showed up and who the special guest was?
Oh, yes. Well, it was very nice. There was a few special guests. Linda James was there, a pasta babe. She was there. And the very special one was Wally from his channel, JW Thoughts. It was very nice. First, it was Linda that got there, and then I got there second, and then we talked for quite a while. And then other people started coming in later, and JP was there. And there were some people I never had met them before, but it was very nice. It was a really nice meetup. I enjoyed it.
Do you think you'll have another one?
Well, it would be great. It was great because I only live 10 minutes from.
I know it was good for you. Everyone had traffic to go through it. I know Wally saw an accident and you had to help him because he got lost. And I know JP was in 3-hour traffic, but you guys all made it. You persevered. And one little side note, we met someone in Washington, D.C., and I was talking to her, and she said she was from California. And I said, well, they're going to be having a meetup with Wally in California, so we'll give you the details. And she ended up showing up there, right, Nadine?
Right. Is that the girl with the red hair? Was it Stephanie?
Yes. And
oh, yeah. Who was there?
Yep. And she had to travel quite a distance. So we made that connection between when we were in D.C. Little did we know that she lived in California. Now she's going to go and and go to see Wally. So that was a nice connection.
It was, yes. And I had never met her before, but yeah, she lives probably about an hour or so.
Yes, and now you know more exes. So I don't know if Rick is there. We sent Rick some pictures of the Anaheim meetup. I don't know. Are you there, Rick?
Yes, I'm here, Fran, but I didn't see the pictures. I did not see the pictures.
Okay, I thought I sent them in the, maybe I can try again. But anyway, that was a really nice meetup, and we're so glad that Wally had a chance to meet all you, because Wally got sick and it was scheduled to be on a Wednesday, and everybody had to change their plans to Thursday. So.
Right, that's true. And Wally is such a nice guy. He really is. I was very impressed. He was very, very nice. And when I left, he said, well, you're leaving? He goes, I'll walk you out to your car. So that was kind of unexpected, but very nice, because the parking lot was so dark. So I'm glad that he did walk me out to the car. Very nice guy. Very, very nice guy. And we had a really good time.
That's great.
Did anybody see Jay? Not like the guy that lives in New York, Jay. He's been on Six Screens forever and ever and ever. An older gentleman that had been sick for a while. Has anybody seen him or heard from him?
Jay from New York.
Don't know.
Where would we see him?
Well, Rick would know. Rick would know who we're talking about, and Pixie would know about Jay. He's an old timer that used to be on here all the time. Every single time Six Screens was on, he was on the radio every single time, and we haven't heard anything from him for a long time. I wondered if Rick here and Pixie, anybody know? And I guess not. Okay.
Are you talking about Angela? You're talking about Jay Hess?
No, not that Jay. He was in a nursing. I think he might have been in a nursing home.
Oh, that's Jay in New York. Yeah, he's still in a nursing home. We have got some information from him. His phone has been cut off, so I tried to call him, but I can't. But the last time I did contact him, and I do have another fellow that's been trying to contact him. He's in the nursing home in New York somewhere. Yep.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for that. And how's Susan doing, Rick?
Somewhat better. And thank you for saying that, but she is doing better. So I think she's going to be, I think that she's going to be good to go here in about 2 or 3 months. I think that she's going to be back on here with me. So that'll be good. Thank you. Yep.
Oh, good. Tell her we said hi.
I sure will. Thank you, Angela. Thank you.
Hi, Angela.
Hi, how are you?
It's Nadine. I'm good.
Good. I know I've been talking for. Yes, thank you. Oh, I love hearing your voice, Nadine. We'll have to catch up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. In fact, Linda Apostababe thought that I was you one time. She said we sounded alike.
Oh, that's probably true. Yeah. Cool. Oh, sweet.
Well, I'll give you a call sometime soon.
All right, that sounds good, Nadine.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye-bye. Love you too. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Nadine, for relating the meetup. We have meetups here too. We just had one Thursday, and we've had how many so far?
We've had 8 so far.
Yeah, we have them every other week, and each time we've had more people, and it's so nice when the ones who come in find out that they know each other, or at least they know others, the other relatives or friends. And what we do too is, well, we make sure people have XJW pins, because when they wear that in public, that's one way we can find each other. Because otherwise, you could have an XJW right next to you in line or whatever, and you'll never know it. But if you have the pin on it, it helps a little. And the other thing that we do too is it's so good that we share information now. but it's the public, like someone mentioned, that really is clueless as to what's going on in the witnesses. But that's where we go out of our way to hand out these cards that indicates that they should be aware of witnesses, and it explains why, and then and lets them know that we are in fact a support group for one's local. And the reason being is because the shunning that you spoke about, the shunning that takes place, which is truly, it's destructive. It is horrible.
Yeah.
When a person suffers that abandonment, it's the worst thing that someone can experience when their whole support world is taken away.
Mm-hmm.
It can't
Yeah.
be minimized. It just can't be minimized.
Yeah, it's tragic. It's
Yeah.
tragic. It's tragedy happening over and over and over again.
Yeah. So I mean, but what everyone can do in your own little neighborhood, your own little world, wherever you are, is just somehow make the public aware of Jehovah's Witnesses. Don't assume that they know. They really don't know. That's what we found. We found that most people really don't know much about them. They just know, oh yeah, those are those Bible people that come to the door. And I say, well, there's a lot more to them than that. And they're shocked to find out that they were hiding pedophiles, and the fact that they're the cause of so much depression and suicide. They need to find out. It's the only way that the movement will reach other people. It's from people, and our voices are important for that. So please use your voices.
Well, Joe, this is Rick Barron. I really have to say that no, that is important, and it is working right now.
Yeah.
The watchtower is hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
People leaving more than ever. I talked about it in my broadcast earlier, but in the last year and a half, Joe and Fran, I'm estimating that 500,000 people have left Watchtower, and I'm not looking through rose-colored glasses.
Oh,
but
I believe that.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
500,000. They
What-
are. Yeah, go ahead.
And what about the numbers or percentage that might be PMOs that are in? What would you think about that, Rick?
Well, the PMOs is really hard to tell, but I'm gonna put a figure of, I have to tell you, and I've said this before on our broadcast, I would be willing to go on the hook and say that I would say half of the Jehovah's Witnesses do not believe this.
Yeah,
They're just
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
They're just going through the motions. So let's say there could be 4.5 million, 5 million perhaps people that are just going through the motions.
Yeah.
It's hard to really know, but that's the figure I give. Yep.
And there's so many that left during COVID. I know Jay mentioned he did, and we did. And like we spoke with the sister today, 3 weeks. It's only been 3 weeks since she's been out. And she says she's been binge watching all the videos. And just as an idea, 8 days ago, Joe and I did an interview. Vivian, how do you say her last name?
Vaz Mediano.
Vaz Mediano. She does videos, and she interviewed us. And after that, we had 13 people call us from that video alone.
Wow.
And then 6 days ago, we happened to be on JT and Lady C. We were talking about the bombing in India, and they asked us, how we got out and everything. And there were 9 folks that called. So within 8 days, that's 13 and 9, that's 22 people. Our phone was ringing off the hook. And the important part, it's not about us, it's about the connections that we're making. And we're finding, like, single dads like you, Jay, that need support, and we connect them. So I might be connecting you with someone. I don't know if I already did, but our list is getting bigger and bigger. And just a plug for Fixing My Faith. Vern's wife is working on a website. The website is called a Friend in Need is a Friend Indeed. And there's different categories you can go on. It might be someone who just wants to talk, or maybe someone who needs a job. Maybe someone needs accommodations. Maybe they've been homeless. Also, XJW therapists, we're finding more and more therapists that were Jehovah's Witnesses. And those are the ones you really would like to talk with, because they know what you're talking about when you're talking about shunning and depression. And also another category is meetups. So they're working on that website. We'll give you more information. It's under construction right now, but they're working on that. So a lot is happening. And
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much support out there, and I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to be leaving soon, especially just listening to what this governing body is saying during this annual meeting. It's jaw-dropping. It's shocking to hear them say that. How they're talking about the flood now, how they're talking about all of these things that were core. It was all of these things were the truth, and look at them flip-flop now. They, how dogmatic. They're using that word a lot during their annual meeting, and then Winder is saying that they don't have to apologize. I mean, I think right now it's more obvious than ever, and a lot of people are going to be coming out, and they're going to need some support.
And not only support, Jay, but they actually need the invitation, the invitation to come out, because they may feel that that they've avoided coming out, and they may feel we don't accept them because of their being loyal all this while. In other words, them treating us as apostates and shunning us, and they may very well feel that they're not accepted. Our job is to invite them and to show them that we're here. There's room for more friends, and we're
Well,
here for
906, you're on with us. Go ahead, 906. Go ahead.
No, I was just curious. The brother that was speaking before Joe, he said something about the flood. Did something change with the doctrine, or I just heard him say something about the flood. Maybe I misunderstood it.
Yeah, I think he's referring to you, Daniel, what you said about how they mentioned Jay. It was Daniel on the phone. Jay, about the flood. Did you want to expand on that?
Oh, I thought you said blood. Oh, about the flood. Yeah.
Yeah.
How Splain is on the annual meeting, basically saying that they were dogmatic in teaching, and he actually admitted that what they were teaching was not even in the Bible, saying that not anyone would be resurrected, and now they're backpedaling, they're changing.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, it's crazy to hear that.
Is there where he said even up to Armageddon, people can still come in?
Yeah, I think that was Jackson that was saying.
Honestly, I think they're speaking so much nonsense.
Yeah.
That they're trying to work themselves out of a job.
Yeah.
It's the only thing they can gather. I think that they're trying to cool out everyone who's left in.
Yeah, they're trying to get everyone to run off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's go with 975. 975, you're on with Fran and Joe. Go ahead. 975, you're on with us.
Hello.
661. Hello.
925.
9925. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, it's a pasta dude. Hi, Joe.
Hiya, Pasta Dude.
Hiya, pasta dude.
You can't fool us.
Yeah, what Jay was talking about was interesting. Splain actually used the reasoning that Noah wouldn't have had time to go to seldom work territory, would he? Noah wouldn't have had time to do return visits when they're building the ark. Well, of course, that was always the case. But before, the reasoning was, well, news got out. Noah's telling the local people, and everybody's spreading it because he is building this gigantic chest to float in a flood that he predicts. So therefore, they had no excuse. That was the old teaching. But the reasonableness comes into play now for some strange reason all of a sudden. And we're saying things like, but that's not in the Bible, is it? Yeah, but we don't want to be dogmatic after we've been nothing but dogmatic forever, for all the time, with the authority and the threat that if you challenge our dogma, we're going to drop the hammer on your whole world. So, that was shocking, and Jay's making a great point. Thank you, Jay.
All right.
714. Go ahead. You're with us. Go ahead, 714. Okay, let's go with
Ron, are you okay?
let's go with JP. JP, you're on with us.
Hey, JP.
Hi.
Hello, JP.
Thank you for going in. This is Jerry. I go by JP on the show a lot, but this is Jerry. We spoke. I got your contact from Joe and Fran, and we spoke the same night after the protest. I don't know if you still remember.
I remember. How are you?
Pretty good. Maybe tomorrow or something we could chat for a little bit, but I just wanted to tell you thank you for coming on the show and stuff, and really, it was really nice to hear you give your testimony and stuff on the show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Good to hear your voice.
Yours too. But,
yeah, I talked to you on the way home, or on the way to my room that night.
Yeah, it was really nice to hear from you right after the protest, and you just got finished at Rick's room, I think a little before, like you gave your story on there a little bit, and he was interviewing people. So
yeah,
I got your contact from John Brown, but I was surprised you called me later that night after the protest. It was kind of late at night, but you still must have been kind of amped up. But it was nice.
Yeah, I had a long walk. I walked several blocks to get back to my room.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me and stuff. So yeah, I'm just glad you came on the show tonight and you told your story and stuff like that. But yeah, we definitely have to talk in the future.
All right, that sounds good. You're in California, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I called you that night, because I knew it was 3 hours difference. So I'm like, oh, let me call him up.
That was nice.
Yeah, that's interesting too. You worked in you're an iron worker. I worked in structural as an iron worker, both in the shop and the field for like over 10 years. So we'll have some other stuff to talk about too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I did that for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to visit. We met Jerry in person, Jay, when we were in California.
Great
and
guy.
we had a really nice time.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Love you, JP.
Thanks for calling. Thanks for calling in.
Go ahead, 720. 720. Go ahead, you're on with us.
Yeah, man.
I was just going to say, Beth Schmidt, who has been on Six Screens forever, she's back in the hospital, and she could definitely use some phone calls, guys. So I just want to make sure we all give her some love and give her some attention. She could really use it about now. So I just wanted to we'll let you know that about Beth Schmidt, okay? Get back
Yeah,
to you
maybe,
soon.
yeah, we'll get her information from you.
Oh, that'd be great.
Angela. Yeah, thank you, Angela.
Right. Yeah, thank you guys. Just keep praying for her, okay?
Yeah, we'll be praying for that. Thank you.
714, you're on with us. Go ahead.
Well, that's probably me, Rick. I was just listening. It's Nadine. Is JP still there?
Yes, Nadine, I'm still here. All right.
Hi. Yeah, it was great the other night at the meetup. I had a good time. It was good seeing you.
Yeah, it was great seeing you. I'm glad. We're gonna be planning another one in about 3 to 4 months. I was talking to Karina and stuff, so I'll let you guys know when the next one is.
Okay, sounds good.
No, not
And thanks for that peanut butter fudge that you gave me. I had a little bit, but I can't keep everybody that's at the house away from it, so I got a little tiny piece left for myself. But everybody had a little taste and just took off on it, so it was really good. Thank you.
Oh, good. You're welcome. When I see you again, I'll make some more.
Oh yeah, if you make a little bit more than that, everybody real quick. Thank you, Nadine.
You're welcome. I'm glad you liked it.
Fran, put that picture up again, Fran, and get you on solo.
So this is Nadine and JP that were just on the phone. They were at the meetup in Anaheim.
I like the mustache.
It's the best.
Okay, and then first one was of Wally. Let's see, that's Wally. And it was at a brewery in Anaheim. It was called Brewery X. I don't know if you're still there, Nadine or Jerry. And
yeah.
What other? Oh, I got another nice picture. They're kind of in my phone. Oh, anybody recognize who that is? Wait a minute, let me get that thing off my phone.
It looks like a pasta babe.
Yes, it's a pasta babe and Nadine.
Yeah.
So a pasta babe got it. She arrived first to Anaheim, so she just waited, and then Nadine came, and they were at our meetup that we had when we were in California. So I think that. Oh, then we've got the one with everyone in it. Let me find it. Sorry. Yeah, I tried to send these to you, Rick. I guess they didn't go through. There was a group picture. Okay, that's Wally. Well, if I find it, I'll put it up. What's this one? Okay. Well, I do have a group picture, so if anybody wants to say anything while I'm looking.
Well, the amazing thing is, Fran, when you stop and think about it, it's so, I'll tell you what technology there is, though. You can take a picture and put it up and the whole world can see it. But sometimes just even trying to find out what a picture is can be a real nightmare. But there you go. All right.
Okay, there's the whole group. I believe they had 10.
Yeah,
and,
we're going to see it. Yeah.
Right over here on the end, on this side. Whoops, just a second. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that was good. We could see it. We could see it all. That was great. That was wonderful. Thank you. There we go. Good.
Yep. So there's
Actually,
James.
This is great. And there was actually about maybe 13 to 14 people there total, but not everybody was in the picture. But some people were there just to support some of the people that were there and stuff. But it was pretty good. And I think you mentioned there was a few that couldn't make it, like Kevin and Marissa and Keith. And we're really missing them. So hopefully next time we can all get together. But I think he said even on top of that, there might have been like 5 more or so I think
Yes. Yeah.
easily we
Yes.
could have got a group of at least
Well, yeah,
more.
Wally did get a chance to stay with, I'm not going to say her name, but one of the older friends. She's not that old. She's younger than us, but he ended up staying there at her house last night. Are we still on?
You're still here, yep.
Yeah.
You're still
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't see Jay for a minute and I didn't hear him.
Yeah, I just took a bathroom break.
Good. Yeah, it gets kind of long sometimes.
Yeah, that's okay.
So down in St. Augustine, Jay, if you found a group of exes, we always find that meetups are really nice. You know, you could meet at a restaurant, you can just go out for coffee. We happen to have it at our house because we've got the room for it. But they're so encouraging. Just like when we were in Washington, D.C., nobody wanted to leave. We all just wanted to hug each other and keep talking. And when we were up in Rick's room, nobody wanted to leave. And the next morning, what happened the next morning?
Oh man, I got a text message, and it's like from a number I don't even know. It's like, hey, you want to meet up for breakfast? And I was like, all right, because I was kind of checking out of my room slow. So I ended up jumping on the metro and meeting up with you guys. We had breakfast, and with the other sister's name, what was her name?
I don't know if we should give her name, but she's from Washington, D.C. And
Okay.
yes, yeah. And she
Yeah, we
found
had
the
a nice breakfast.
If she's out there, hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah.
Was that the same? Was that the same girl? We won't give her name, but she
Yes.
came up. I thought she was the pizza delivery girl.
She
She
brought
not-
the pizzas. But
she not do it. She had pizza. I says, okay, fine. I thought it was a pizza delivery girl, but boy, she's an amazing girl. Amazing.
Rick.
Yeah, and she only woke up in July.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rick, tell the story how she didn't want to get on the show.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna let the phone goes off. The phone goes off every. Let me get back on again. Hold on 1 second. Give it a second. And the phone goes off every 6 hours, but we get the phone back on, and then we can get people to
Welcome
come.
into the live Six
There we
Screens
go.
conference
So
call.
you hear what's going on? Yep.
We thank you for joining in.
Every 6 hours, the phone goes off here, so we have to reactivate it. Just give us a second. You'll be right back on with us.
Your phone is a microphone and picks up on all noises in the background.
Just what happens is every 6 hours the phone goes off, so we have to reactivate it.
Placed into the conference.
If you are the host, please enter your PIN. Thank you. There are 12
Well, we bring.
participants in the conference. Recording did not start because your storage is full. Please log in and delete recordings or purchase more storage from your account.
Okay, I think we're back on with you. Can you hear me, friend Joe?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Yep.
Can hear you.
Right. So, what was the question that you had, Fran?
Well, the sister that came to your apartment with all the pizzas, what did she say? Like we were all getting on and giving our story, and what did she say? Remember? She didn't want to get there.
Well, she really didn't want to speak up. She, was still kind of like, kind of hiding somewhat. But after Jay gave his little testimony, she came on, and boy, I'll tell you, it was really wonderful. It was really, really wonderful. And boy, she's something else. She said she listened in to Six Screens every Saturday night, and boy, I tell you, that was her. She loved coming up there and being with us all. It was just amazing, huh?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was really cool to go up there and experience that.
Yeah.
So Rick, these were her words. These were her words. She said, I probably would never forgive myself if I didn't. Here I am with Rick Fearon and Joe and Fran. I would never forgive myself if I didn't get up there and say something. And then she said, started talking. She says, well, I only want to say 3 things. And then she really elaborated on it. And she's really very articulate. And she really was talking. It was really
she speaks
good.
very well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And she's got to come on sometime.
Yes. And
Yeah,
if
we're,
you're
we're,
listening,
we're gonna get around. We're gonna get around here one of these nights because I mean, really, she loved it. I mean, that was the highlight of her year. Really, she thought that. I mean, it was like big time for her. That
Yeah.
was so important for her to be there.
Yes,
It
it was very
big time
special.
for everyone.
Yeah, that was a big deal. That was a big deal for me to say something. I've never spoken about my situation. And thank you for inviting me to go up to the room and letting me speak that night. I think it helped me maybe more than anyone because
Oh,
I
it helps
felt
us.
like a load was off of my shoulders. I feel like I can put this particular situation that I've been through, just put it on the shelf and move on. I felt really good coming home, my flight home. I really felt like I did something positive. And man, it's really great to be a part of this. Just letting people know what's really going on and speaking out, because what these guys are doing to people is it's awful. They're tearing families apart. Um, it's just terrible what they're doing.
Well, what I noticed, Jay. In fact, I thought about it. You left. You're the last one to leave. And what I noticed the next day, in fact, I got thinking when I was driving back, I said, that man, Jay, he was really helped. He was really helped by coming on and talking. And
Yeah.
and when you do that, you get it off your chest.
Yeah.
And I really believe that really helped him last night, coming in and talking. You didn't want to do it at first, but eventually,
Yeah.
then your girlfriend called in, right? And she kind of encouraged you to do it. And it really, all the way home, I said, man, that was really a great thing. That man got it off his chest. And the other woman, too, we won't mention her name, but the other woman came on as well. She got it off her chest, too. So that's what you have to do sometimes.
Yeah.
And it worked. Good for you, Jay. Good for you.
Yeah. It's a great feeling to have a voice and speak up, because they're, like I said before, the second they find out that something or anything, they want to shut you up really quick, and they use this fellowshipping, they use this fear, all these tactics that they have, but their efforts they're not going to be lasting. They're just not.
No.
Well, you did a great job, Jay. Seriously, I mean, I really mean that. Let's take a look at the phone lines here. Let's see who's calling in tonight. So, anyways, if you'd like to speak up and you want to say hello to Jay, to Fran and Joe, we got 248. You're on with us, 248. What do you have to say?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, come closer to your phone so we can hear better. Nice and loud. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better. Yep.
Yes. Okay. My name is Philip, and I'm an XJW. And you know what I find very amazing is that we were taught as Jehovah's Witnesses that Jehovah God gives direction to the governing body, which in turn gives it to the rest of us. Now, if we know that God does not change his mind, what I don't understand is why does the witnesses understand with all these changes constantly all over the years? Well, who does changes all the time? Men do changes, not God. Very simple to understand. I don't understand why it doesn't occur to them with all these changes that occurs over the years, all these publications that were around, because I grew up in the 1960s, all those publications are no longer the truth. All these constant changes. And I would like to ask one very simple question. Does God change his mind? Well, the answer is no. Then therefore, why all the changes? Then it has to be something that's not right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's becoming more and more apparent, especially now. Just as time goes on, these guys expose themselves with every syllable that comes out of their mouth. Really, they do.
I think it's only a question of time.
That's a very simple premise. If God does not change his mind, then why all the changes? In other words, if Jehovah God is giving them direction, the truth to the governing body, and in turn tell us, then why all the changes?
Yeah, they want it.
Not God's organization. It's an organization of men, because men change their mind, not God.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
simple.
they can do all the changes because they just said in the annual meeting that it's okay for them to change, and they don't need to give an apology either. They're excusing it somehow. They're
It's part of their strategy to
yeah.
to keep the people dependent on them. In other words, to hang on their
Well,
changes and their words.
Well, the thing is the rank and file members did a little bit of thinking and said, wait a minute, why all the changes? In other words, if God given them direction, give us the truth, and God doesn't change his mind, then why are you always changing policy? I mean, it's a very simple thing to calculate.
Well, it's very, what you're saying is very logical.
Yeah.
And if you follow it through, I mean, that what you're saying is very truthful. And you would think that more witnesses wake up and smell the coffee. I mean, God is not a changing mind God. If he sets something in motion, he stays with it. But yet the witnesses are so willing to go along with whatever the organization says, and new light, and we get new ideas on this now. It's nuts. It's nuts. But you're raising a doggone good question. Yes.
I mean, my mom taught me that Jehovah God tell the organization what to print in the Watchtower and the Wake magazine, and the direction comes from them. So therefore, if God is giving them direction to the rest of us, and then all the changes occurring, that would either say God either doesn't know what he's talking about, or this is not an organization directed by God. Therefore, it has to be directed by men. It's very simple.
Yeah. Yeah, and that talk by Jeffrey Winder, he explains that entire process of how changes come about. That part that he gave in the annual meeting, he's talking about the whole process that they go through to come up with quote unquote new light. And it's just crazy what they're coming out with now. It's just crazy.
When I was a youngster in the 1960s, the Bible study was Babylon the Great Has Fallen. Rick, you might remember that. It was a maroon-looking book.
Oh, sure, I remember that book. That was a boring book. Yeah.
That was a very heavy book. I mean, when I'm saying heavy, I'm not talking about weight. I'm talking about as far as intellect. And that book now is in the garbage can because it's no longer the truth. Well, then, if that wasn't the truth, and I was a youngster growing up in the 1960s, then why would we waste our time going door to door in the 1960s? The whole thing doesn't make any sense. The whole
how do you make how do you make sense out of nonsense?
Yeah.
And you guys are forgetting one very important point. Watchtower now teaches that they are not inspired of God, and therefore they are infallible. Now, how do you make sense out of that? Why were we following them in the first place?
Exactly. So therefore, that says that God is not running this organization. He never did. I mean,
right.
He can't run the organization. In other words, he can't run the organization when I was a youngster in the 1960s, and then now he's not. So therefore, he never was.
And so if you've been around since the 60s, you probably remember how Watchtower used to teach that there's only two organizations, God's organization and Satan's. So if they're saying they are not being led by God, that only leaves one other organization, right?
Yes. Well. It's the whole thing for me is that it's a man-made organization. Always has been.
Exactly.
Always has been. And so therefore, and here's the thing: when they say they're the only true religion, there's no such thing as a true religion. There's no such thing as a true religion. There's false worship and true worship. That's it. And then what do we need to have Watchtower and Wake magazines or any other books, Babylon the Great has Fallen, in all these books? All you need is the Bible. That's all. That's it.
Correct.
And so therefore,
they even say that their publications are more important than the Bible, because they say you can't understand the Bible without their publications.
True. That's true.
So they've actually taken their publications and put them on top as if they are more preeminent than the Bible itself. So how blasphemous can you be? How blasphemous can you be?
Yeah, and the whole thing, the whole premise is just ridiculous. I'm going to tell you something. I was a witness, but I was always a weak witness. And I'm so thankful I was a weak witness, because it allowed me to wake up to this nonsense. Because if I was a strong brother and I was pioneering and I was trying to have desires to be an elder, ministerial servant, or pioneer, then it would have took me longer to wake up. But when you're a weak witness, see, being a weak witness, I think it gives you an edge over the strong witnesses. Because first of all, because you're not doing as much as the strong witnesses, and you have less, you put less time into it, less work into it. So therefore, I think the weak witnesses have a better chance of waking up better than the strong witnesses who are trying to achieve positions. I never ever wanted to be an elder. I never wanted to be an elder. I never wanted to be a ministerial servant. I never wanted to go to Bethel. All I wanted to do was to survive Armageddon and live in the paradise earth. That's it. So I did
a little bit different. I did want to be an elder, but for the sole reason of helping people, not for being a power trip. I don't want to sit in on judicial meetings. I don't want to do anything like that. The older I got, I realized that I never would have made it for 1 nanosecond as an elder, because I'm not going to just go along with foolishness and stuff that's not in the Bible or doesn't have the spirit of love that Jesus talked about. I wouldn't have lasted 1 nanosecond anyway. They would have kicked me right off the elder body.
Well, for me, I wanted to live a normal life. And Jehovah's Witnesses don't live a normal life.
No, they don't.
So therefore, all I wanted to do was go to the meetings, go out and field service every now and then, and that's it. That's all I wanted to do. In other words, I wanted to do it like the church goers do. They just go to church and they come home. That's it.
Right.
And that's how I lived my life as a Jehovah's Witness. Instead of going just on Sunday, I had to go, 2 more meetings, 2 other days. But that really was my saved me from being so drawn into this organization, because I was always weak. And then I got this fellowship. I was out more than I was in. Okay.
Sure.
I've been in the fellowship for over 30 years.
Okay.
And so therefore, that's a good thing, because that allowed me to not be locked into that organization. And I'm in my 60s. I'm in my 60s now. And I got this fellowship when I was 29 years old.
Oh, wow, that's great.
So it is great, because it allowed me to think. It allowed me to do my own thinking.
Yeah.
It's harder when you are a strong brother.
Yeah. Have you heard, my brother? Have you heard that they no longer count field service time?
Yes, I have.
Basically, what's your feeling on that? What's your feeling on that?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you. So I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. The only time I counted time was when I was still at home with my parents. Okay. When I got on my own and I was going to the Kingdom Hall, I never counted time. And when I was feeling something, I never filled out a time slip. Never.
Okay.
I never did that. So what I'm saying is my weakness as a brother helped me wake up later on.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm in a similar situation, but I just want to ask you before I tell you about myself. Do you still consider yourself disfellowshipped?
No, I do not, because that is a Jehovah's Witness term. So therefore, I told my mom, because my mom, she's still a witness. She said, "You disfellowship." I said, "I'm not disfellowship." I said, "That's the Jehovah's Witness term. I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I don't believe in the organization anymore." That's for people who are believers who wish to come back.
Exactly.
I have no desire to come back because I know it's not true and it's all a lie. So therefore, I'm not. What am I disfellowship for? What?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I told my mom, I said, "I'm so glad that I was weak all those years. I'm so glad I was a weak brother. So glad. I never. So therefore, I didn't. It's like going to the casino. I only lost $500. The strong witnesses lost $1 million. Okay, because I didn't put as much that was work into it, so therefore I didn't lose that much.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm not going through a lot of changes like the strong ones were. Or the strong ones are the ones going through a lot of changes because they put a lot of work into it.
Mm-hmm.
But the weak ones have a better chance of getting out because they really don't want to do it anyway. They do it because they're trying to survive Armageddon. That's it. And once you know there's no Armageddon, there's no paradise earth, then you can leave. You're free of that.
Exactly.
It's like a building coming off your back, of your shoulders.
It's like what Jesus said, you'll know the truth and the truth will set you free.
You know what?
Even though I was associated all those years, it still affected me because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about Armageddon. Oh, I better hurry up. They tell you, you better hurry up and get yourself together because Armageddon's coming around the corner. Matter of fact, my mom told me in the 1980s, coming from assembly, she told me, she says, "Oh, they said it's not around the corner, it's staring you in the face." That was back in the 1980s, okay? And here we are in the 21st century. Matter of fact, there was a magazine that came out in 1962. I was 3 years old, okay? They said that Armageddon will happen in the 20th century.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, I said, "What century is this now? We're in the 21st century." So that was supposed to be the truth back in 62. Now you're going to tell me now it's not the truth? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's very simple to understand. I don't know why they don't get that. Something's not right here.
You know what's even...
Go ahead.
What's even weirder, you understand the Bible, if a person really reads the Bible, even if you're a witness, there is a difference between the Great Tribulation and Armageddon. Armageddon is the war of the great day of God Almighty, which does not apply to the Great Tribulation. The Great Tribulation is the one that comes. Armageddon is probably after the 1,000 years. So they get that all screwed up, and yet they use it as a weapon, as a fear tactic.
Well, the whole thing is a fear tactic. But what gets me is that my mom mentioned this to me. She was telling me, "You better hurry and come back. You're going to be destroyed. You're going to be destroyed." I said, "I'm not going to be destroyed because it's not going to be an Armageddon." I told my sister the same thing. I said, "The whole thing is a scam." I said, "So, the whole thing is that," I said, "if Armageddon's coming, aren't they supposed to announce peace and security first? I thought that was the first indication. They don't care about peace and security. They should say peace and security. Then they're going to burn it. They're going to burn the churches, and then Satan is going to put the world or the beast against the witnesses. That's how it's supposed to go. They totally forgotten about peace and security. They didn't say it's going to come. What you mean it's going to come? But that's just peace and security. So, I mean, my point is, I don't understand why they don't get this. Something is not right with this organization. It's very simple.
So you got to understand that the witnesses that are out there now, so you take somebody that's become a Jehovah's Witness within the last, say, 10 years, they don't have the body of knowledge that we have to be able to compare. To see that Watchtower used to believe this, now they believe that. True. They don't have that. They don't have that framework. Because like now, you, and I guarantee you, anybody that's on this call has been around long enough. If you listen, go back to what Mr. Fearon was talking about earlier, with how often they ask for donations. Watchtower used to never do that.
That's true. Very true.
First time I've heard an entire part, what is it called? Service meeting part, 15-minute part. all about all the different ways that you can contribute money. I'm telling you, when I left that meeting, I was in shock because in my whole life, and I'm about 5 years younger than you, you never heard Watchtower.
That's true.
Beg for money. They tell you about give me your house and give me your life insurance and Bitcoin and all of this. Now, so anybody that's been around more than say 20 years, there's no way that they can't say to themselves, this organization is changing, constantly flip-flopping on T2. Now you don't have to report.
Right. Well, my poor mother is 95 years old. She got baptized in 1951. Okay, so she should know. But she still, you know what she said one time? She said, if everybody leaves, she's still gonna stay. I said, Mom, just think about what you just said. Does that make any sense? Now, if everybody's leaving and you stay, wouldn't that give you a little indication for concern that something's not right here?
Right.
Why would you stay? If everyone's leaving, why would you stay? That should give you an indication something's not right with this organization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she's really a strong witness. I can tell you that.
Hey, I wanted to bring 209 in. 209, come on in. Say hello to 209.
Sure.
209. All right. I guess they left on us. But no, continue the conversation. I'm finding it very fascinating. And then brother from, the brother from 248, I won't say who you are, but I have to tell you, I'm really listening with great intent. You're making sense. You're making a lot of sense. But see, what happens is the witnesses, they just cannot connect with this. Go ahead. I think you're on with us, sister. Go ahead. Speak up.
Oh, sorry. This is Mimi. I only called like a couple of times, but I wanted to piggyback off of what that last brother said. He made a great point about all the changes and everything. And if we remember, it was not that long ago that Samuel Hurd was up there telling everybody that Jehovah was the one who closed the door on the ark, and that you shouldn't even let in your mommy. I mean, those were his words. He said that even your mother wouldn't get in because Jehovah had closed the doors. And now Jeffrey Jackson and all of them want to change that and say, oh, well, I guess that was a mistake. I guess Jehovah made a mistake when he closed the door.
Here's the thing about that, too. You know what's so ridiculous about that? That what is the point of being a Jehovah's Witness and sacrificing your life, going out in field service, carrying out carts, going through all those changes, not going to college, everything else that they are against? What's the point of it? You might as well do what you want to do, like all the worldly people do, and you still got a chance to come back. So what's the point? It doesn't make any sense. That's the whole sacrifice of it is doing right so you can live after Armageddon. So if you're gonna bring everybody back, if ain't no Hitler to come back,
we want to bring 209. 209, come on in with us. 209's been waiting. Go ahead, 209. 209, here we go. 209, come on, you're on with us. All right, I guess not. They wanted to come on.
Hey, Rick.
I just want.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to tell you real quick. If anybody wants to see my interview with Kurt Hatfield, look up on my YouTube channel, Larry J. Wayne, initial J, Larry J. Wayne on YouTube. And I also wanted to comment. My father. This ties into what the brother just said a few minutes ago about wasting our life. My father, he died a couple years ago, but he was born in 25, got baptized in 1935, and all his life he was a devout witness. He got baptized at 10, pioneered at 18, had gone to prison. And then he got some land and he dreamed about building this house overlooking this valley on his property. He never got around to it because he's always too busy with pioneering. All his life, he dreamed about having this house overlooking this valley in his property. And so I got to thinking about that, and think about the sacrifice that he made for the Watchtower, and it's all for nothing. All those years talking about Armageddon coming, and it didn't come. And like the brother was saying a few minutes ago, you could have been out all the time and come back. And so all the time that they wasted thinking that Armageddon is right around the corner, any minute now, and so they postponed their life. Generations, years and years have been wasted for that organization to make money. That's all it was.
That's right. And here's another thing too. I just dawned on me: the changes they make, as well as regarding the people from the flood. They also said that they taught us that you had to make sure, if you're not living your life right, you have to die before Armageddon comes. Once tribulation comes, you can't make it back in. Well, they changed that as well.
Mm.
So what's the, you don't have to worry about dying before the tribulation, because guess what? You still can come back.
Yeah.
They've changed that as well. Now, so that's what I'm saying. What's the point of going through all these changes, of being a witness?
Exactly.
Where they're going to bring you back anyway. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And all they told them that all the years that they told us that you're separating the sheep from the goats too.
That's right.
I mean, I know that they changed that a while back, but still, I mean, and then here you are, and here we are.
That's right. Exactly. I mean, that's what amazes me. If the Jehovah's Witnesses just do a little bit of thinking, just think a little bit, they will realize none of this makes any sense.
Yeah. During the annual meeting, Jackson goes into this timeline with a video and everything, and he tells the crowd, "Oh, we've had so many changes. What do we believe?" Well, he shows this video to remind everyone what they are to believe right now, with a sequence of events that is happening now and that's supposed to be unfolding. And he's over there with a video explaining all of this and telling everyone what they're supposed to be believing, because there's been so many changes.
Well, as I stated earlier, Jehovah God must be changing his mind quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
God is giving them all Jehovah God is the one giving them the direction. It's Jehovah God's organization, and therefore God must be changing his mind quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's God's organization, which is not, of course.
Well, like I said, their teaching is that they are not inspired of God, but they're spirit directed. So now you go and try to explain that one.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, okay, so what do we need you for? I mean, God, I told my mom, when I told my mom that I no longer believe in this organization, I told my mom, what does God need an organization for? God doesn't need an organization. People who are Christians, they don't need an organization. They don't need to go to meetings.
Yeah.
If you have your Bible and you live. I'm sorry, go ahead.
There.
Sure.
If I can jump in.
Sure.
I've been listening to the conversation, and I totally agree with you. It doesn't make any sense. And they know that. They know it doesn't make any sense. And all along, we've come to realize that the society really is designed, their goal is to really destroy faith in God. Now, it seems strange that a religion would want to destroy faith in God, but they're really not a religion. They're a society.
I heard someone say this in one of the videos some time ago, that it's a business masquerading as a religion. I tend to believe that. The business masquerading as religion.
Yeah.
Could I add something there?
I believe that.
I think they're not. I'm going to go a step further. I think it's not just that they're trying to get people to lose faith in God. I think that they want the organization to be God So they put it as if you serve the organization, you're serving God.
That's true.
So they put
That's
the
true.
organization as if it's God, it's equal
Yes.
to God, therefore you have to obey the organization. So that's what they
That's a
want.
very good point. Yes, that's a very good point. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They may just be setting the table. They may just be setting the table for what's coming up, the next thing that's coming up. In other words, I really don't think that that organization is going to even pretend to be God or in position of God. But there may be something else that's coming up. That they're just basically setting the table, and they want slaves. They want.
I just want to bring. Right. We got a lot of callers coming in here tonight. 209. Sure. Did you want to speak up? 209. Did you want to speak up? 209. Linda. 209. Come on with us if you'd like to speak up. You're ready to go. Let's go to 720. 720. Come on with us.
Yeah, this is Dan, Rick. I just had another perspective I wanted to share. And I think Watchtower is trying to shoot down their own ship. I mean, if I was the governing body and I was stealing all their property, I'd want to shoot down my own ship. And I think they've shot torpedoes at these people. I mean, to say babies are an enemy of Jehovah, that should have hit the women right in the eye like a bullet. You know what I mean? Like, bam, like we're out of here. Tony Morris saying, he wished we were dead. That should have hit people like a bullet in the head. I think the governing body is sitting back thinking, what the hell's wrong with these people? I think they're shaking the shit out of the trees and trying to get them to break loose. I mean, they're saying we're not spirit directed, we're not this, they're begging for money. All the core values that they've had, they've changed. And you guys could go on and on forever, but I think they're shooting missiles at their own people, saying, get the hell out of here so we can sell this shit off. I mean, that's a different way of looking at it. But man, as I'm listening, I'm just thinking, there's been so many changes. They're not even trying anymore. Oh, we don't know what the scripture means. They got this lazy fear.
Very
attitude.
True. Very true.
You're thinking. I think, guys, here's what I think. And this is just my perspective, but I think the cork's going to come out. I think they're going to hit them with something. I mean, the pandemic didn't do it. A bunch of them left there. But I think they're hammering these guys with missiles. I do. I think they're trying to sink Watchtower so they can liquidate and say, it dissolved. I'd rather have it dissolved than, do it another way. If I think in a meeting, I could see the government all just sitting back going, what the hell are we going to hit them with next? Don't you guys kind of feel like they're just playing these powerful games? I think they're trying to sink their own ship. What do you think, you guys?
I think the powers that really run Watchtower are trying to get them to reframe themselves more within a mainstream Christian denomination. That's why you're talking about tying, because all churches tie. That's what I really think. I think the pressure is coming from the people. The governing body doesn't run Watchtower. The people who have shares in Watchtower, people we don't know, we've never seen them, but those are the ones when they have that annual meeting, that group, and then the bankers. Well, I think if you're trying to get them more in line to be a Christian denomination, they'll probably do more stuff online than having physical buildings. A, because they need to sell them, and B, nobody's coming anyway. That's what I think is happening.
No, I agree with you. I do. I think that's what they're doing is restructuring the organization. It is no longer going to be a brick and mortar organization where they go into Kingdom Halls. It's going to just be online, just like the other churches do. Coming online, and that's why they always say go to jw.org all the time. They don't preach it. They don't even preach anymore. They only preach
Not only do they not preach anymore, they don't print literature anymore. Everything is going to be these god-awful, emotional, heartstring tugging videos that they do.
That's right. Yeah. And also, they still want to buy real estate and have real estate prior before they wealth.
Yeah, I was going to say that's one of the reasons why they don't stop completely having Kingdom Halls, because they want to talk like they're still expanding, so that they'll still buy more property. The congregations will save money and buy property and and save money and build it, and then the organization gets to keep it and sell it later. So when it finally becomes no more a brick and mortar organization, it will soon crumble, because once you get away from so much of that mind control, if you're not actually there, pretty soon people will stop being regular, and then they'll fall off, and their mind gets away from that conditioning, and they'll start losing really quick. So they're going to take a lot of their money up front, and they're trying to do that now. I believe they're trying to take as much money as they can now, because when they do that, when they sell all the land and go all internet, they're going to lose.
Well, I just want to
Yeah.
step for a second. Just want to step in here for a second. Fran and Joe, I don't want you to get burnt out here tonight. I know you've been on for quite a while. Do you want to continue for a while, or you want to wrap this up?
Hi, Rick. Yeah, we're probably going to wrap it up. I think it worked out great. Jay did a great job. We really appreciate that. And
Thanks for
everyone else.
having me.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
thanks for staying on with us.
And all the
Yeah.
callers, everything. That was great.
It was great meeting you guys up in DC, and having breakfast with you, and meeting Rick. And I'd just like to thank you guys for what you do. I'd like to thank Rick for what he does, what he's been doing for years. And I'd like to thank him for starting out the 6 screens, when early on, when he probably didn't have much support.
Yes.
Thank you for doing that. And, to all the YouTubers, for anyone that's making content and helping people, thank you.
Yeah.
It helped me immensely. And I'm moving forward in a positive way. And I'm grateful and thankful to all those who are active. And I'll continue to speak up and speak out.
That's it. That's it.
About
Jay.
my situation. Yeah.
You did a great job just with those elders. You never know what's going to come out with them.
That's right.
You never know.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're watching a train wreck in slow motion.
Yeah.
With all these things that are happening.
Yeah.
And they're all leading up to the train wreck. You know what I mean? And it's just I'm just glad I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm out.
And and let's continue to look though for the others coming out, and get them.
Yeah, welcome them.
Yeah, welcome them.
Yeah.
'Cause
There's going to be a lot more.
Yeah.
Because man, they're making it easy now for people to
yes.
Just question or say, hey, that didn't sound that sounds weird, or that's weird.
No, I honestly I think that's what they want to do. I really do.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Do you know of meetups that are in Southern California?
They just had one.
Just had one.
Upcoming?
No, they
Don't
just
know.
had. I don't know about any upcoming.
No. We'll keep our ears open, and anyone else that's out there.
I know about the ones in the past, so I'm asking anything in the future.
Don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe, if you get a chance to watch, I have another video on YouTube. My channel, Larry J. Initial J. Wayne.
Right. Well, you are there. You're in California, right, Larry?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you let us know too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
See what you can round up there.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Joe.
We'll keep in touch.
Hey, Joe, this is Pasta Dude. In closing, along the lines of what Jay was saying and all the changes and everything else, one of the slogans or things they're doing lately is they're talking about keeping up with Jehovah's chariot. And so before I left, I would be in car groups. I'd be in car groups, and I said, when I started out so many years ago, I was a footstep follower, and now I'm a chariot chaser.
That's it. That's it.
Oh yeah,
Good one.
that's how they're going to implode, man. They got everybody huffing and puffing behind the chariot, going, "Hey, you're running off from us. What are you doing?"
It's going to be so embarrassing as it goes on further and further. It's going to be more and more embarrassing.
Yeah, I think the longer the people stay in, I think it's going to be harder.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's
I'm
true.
talking about.
It's true, but that's where again, we're going out of our way just to show people that this is the place that they can come out to.
Mm-hmm.
We're friends. We're welcoming them.
Yeah.
See, we're not the
Yeah,
nasty apostates that they said we are.
Well, there you go. We're going to end it there for Joe
Great
and
show,
Fran.
Jay.
We'll let Joe and Fran have a night off here and have a little bit of a break.
All right. Well, everybody have a good night, okay?
Thank you very
Good
much.
night.
Jay.
Love you, Ray.
Love you.
Love you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. Thank
Love you guys. Take care.
All
Thanks
righty.
for having me.
Well, that was Joe and Fran, the outside story. We'll be back next week. We're going to come back next Saturday night. We'll have Anne Marie coming in 5:45, touched by the tentacles of the Watchtower. Anne Marie will be on next week. We thank you very much. There's no 6-screen Sunday tomorrow. It's every 2 weeks. But we thank you very much for coming into our program tonight. You guys keep standing tall. Keep waving that flag of victory. And never let your visions die. Thank you very much for being part of the 6 screens on Saturday night. Thank you. We'll see you next Saturday night.
Great job.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.